1001 sentences. Basic.
챕터 1. 문장의 기본 구조.
Change doesn't happen suddenly.
Many opportunities exist in the world.
Your success grows from your struggles in life.
Success runs away from cowards.
Age doesn't matter in love.
The vegetarian diet worked well for my health.
Honesty will pay in the end.
Every vote counts in an election.
There is no royal road to learning.
Our new building stands in Yeoksamdong.
A great challenge lies ahead for our team.
The next flight will be at 2 p.m.
Friendship is love with understanding.
This ring looks too tight for your finger.
A passion for pleasure is the secret of remaining young.
A room without books is like a body without a soul.
Just be yourself and stay true to your values.
At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet.
My dream came true after all.
Our health always seems much more valuable after we lose it.
Their complaints sound reasonable to me.
Good medicine tastes bitter.
A bad workman blames his tools.
He put his hands in his pockets.
According to an old saying, great hopes make great men.
Depth of friendship does not depend on length of acquaintance.
Your new hairstyle suits you well.
After 2 hours, we finally reached the coast.
Analysts are discussing possible causes of the air crash.
We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
What kind of food would you like to have for lunch?
I really enjoy talking one-to-one. I have no shyness about that.
I don't think that ends can justify the means.
Worry often gives a small thing a big shadow.
Nobody can bring you peace but yourself.
Andy promised his teacher not to cheat on an exam again.
I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Could you tell me where the subway station is?
Money can't buy us good health.
My dad sometimes makes our family various dishes.
Can I ask you a favor?
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
I found some documentaries on TV very educational.
In 2007, UNESCO named Jeju a World Natural Heritage Site.
I got my arm broken yesterday.
Let me explain what's going on.
The noise from outside kept me awake all night.
She kept me waiting for a long time.
Do you want me to leave you alone?
You drive me crazy.
Sports commentators thought him this year's best hitter.
I heard someone call my name from behind.
챕터 2. 주어의 이해.
To express feelings is good for your mental health.
Cramming for an important exam is never a good idea.
To conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom.
To climb steep hills requires a slow pace at first.
Trying to see the other person's point of view is a good rule in life.
Remembering people's names is the first step towards relationship building.
Not getting enough sleep is a common cause of dark circles under the eyes.
That she likes you is certain.
Whether you will succeed or not in the future depends on your will.
What you do today can improve all your tomorrows.
Sometimes what looks like bad luck may not be so bad.
Who our next-door neighbors will be is my mom's biggest concern.
How the universe began cannot be explained clearly.
In making a proposal, why you want to achieve your purpose should be clear and logical.
Whoever gossips to you will gossip about you.
Whatever is begun in anger ends in shame.
It's a delight to trust somebody so completely.
It is true that health is above wealth.
It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness.
It's no wonder that too much fast food can contribute to obesity.
It is not certain whether there are aliens out there.
It is a mystery why he left his seat all of a sudden.
It is no use crying over spilt milk.
Sometimes it is worth challenging our thinking to create a new attitude.
It is so much fun sharing new and creative ideas with others.
It is nice making new friends with common interests.
It is necessary for us to recycle waste.
Real leaders make space for others to shine.
It is impossible for us to make progress without practicing every day.
It is illegal for people to sell alcoholic beverages to anyone under 19.
He has created a special spot for his cat to go play outside.
It was careless of you to lose your umbrella again.
It was rude of him to go away without saying goodbye.
It is considerate of you not to want to trouble others.
It's very generous of you to offer financial help for the elderly who live alone.
It took me 40 years to write my first book.
It seems that the medicine helps his recovery.
It snowed in the Sahara Desert for 30 minutes on the 18th of February, 1979.
How far is it from here to the nearest subway station?
It didn't seem that they were close friends.
It's Monday morning and there's a long week ahead of us.
It's really noisy in here, so speak a little louder.
It appears to me that Susan has lost her temper.
To my surprise, it happened that I got an A in math.
The day most exciting for kids is Christmas.
A leader without vision is a stamped letter without address. It can never reach its destination.
Bamboo products useful for everyday life are made by highly skilled workers.
One of the secrets to happiness is contentment.
The two hardest things to handle in life are failure and success.
The best way to predict the future is to invent it.
People living in town don't know the pleasures of country life.
A book written by a famous writer is not always a good book.
The sweater which you are looking for is in the drawer.
Those who are good at excuses are seldom good at anything else.
Little did I know that the movie would take so long.
Never does a wise man quit when he fails.
Not a single mistake did I find in your composition.
Only through dedicated work does a man fulfill himself.
There is no substitute for hard work.
Now comes the best part of the movie.
In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity.
Happy are those who are content with their lives.
챕터 3. 목적어의 이해.
Things only change when we want to change them.
For a happier life, quit living according to others' expectations.
If you decide to achieve a certain task, achieve it at all costs.
Men never plan to be failures. They simply fail to plan to be successful.
Great storytellers manage to grab the attention of the readers from page 1.
Some people plant rice in their fields and expect to harvest corn.
I don't know what to do.
Can you tell me which bus to take to get to City Hall?
Do not avoid taking responsibility for your actions in any situation.
He didn't admit giving money to local politicians.
Many people put off going to the dentist because of their fear of treatment.
You begin to feel thirsty when your body loses 1% of its water.
When things are tough, remember to remain calm and rational.
I remember hearing many words of wisdom from my grandfather.
Successful people prefer to treat fear as a motivating force.
Men love to wonder, and that is the seed of science.
Have an aim in life, then don't forget to pull the trigger.
I'll never forget hearing this music for the first time.
We regret to say that we are unable to help you.
Don't regret making a wrong decision. Learn from it, move on, and don't look back.
Don't try to be someone that you are not.
Try being a little kinder to those around you. You could make a difference in someone's life.
We couldn't stop laughing because the comedy show was so funny.
I believe that success is a journey, not a destination.
Impossible only means that you haven't found the solution yet.
I think the first duty of society is justice.
Psychologists remind us that most of us use only about 10% of our mind's capacity.
I sometimes wonder whether I'm on the right path in life.
When you invite guests for dinner, it's wise to ask if anyone is vegetarian.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Sometimes we cannot exactly explain why we like something.
Tell me which of the two colors you like better.
Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today.
People may doubt what you say, but they'll always believe what you do.
He thought it better to tell the truth.
I made it clear that I objected to the proposal.
I found it difficult to finish the task in 2 hours.
Many educators believe it wise to emphasize self-directed learning.
He considered it best to say nothing about the matter.
As far as I can, I make it a rule to plan for each day's work in the morning.
I take it for granted that opportunities don't always last.
You should keep it in mind that time and tide wait for no man.
Write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year.
Children like talking about themselves.
If you can't forgive yourself, I am sure you can't forgive anyone else.
A young man should improve himself in every possible way.
I will devote myself to something that makes my life more interesting.
Guests of our hotel can avail themselves of various outdoor recreational activities and indoor sports.
We should enjoy ourselves while we can. Life is too short.
I learn much more by traveling by myself.
Doing your best to the end is great in itself.
The sun is shining brightly behind the clouds.
Don't be afraid of growing slowly. Be afraid only of standing still.
In traveling abroad, it is necessary to know something of foreign customs.
Man seems to insist on ignoring the lessons available from history.
People increasingly object to using animals for the testing of cosmetics.
Working parents are busy balancing their work and home responsibilities.
Even highly skilled workers had difficulty finding work during the Great Depression of the 1930s.
The future depends on what we do in the present.
Your attitude can make all the difference in how your day will begin and end.
Be certain of your decision regardless of whether it is a small or significant one.
I admire him in that he has overcome his physical disability.
챕터 4. 보어의 이해.
The beginning is the most important part of the work.
We seem to learn life's best lessons at the worst times.
My point is that we're spending too much time on details.
Success is never permanent, and failure is never final.
Preserving our cultural heritage is of utmost importance.
Our prime purpose in this life is to help others.
All you have to do is vary your routine a little.
Love is putting someone else's needs before yours.
The last scene of the movie was so touching.
You should stay focused on the day-to-day practice.
We all have ability. The difference is how we use it.
The question is not whether we will die, but how we will live.
A plan is simply what you decide to consistently focus on.
We make our own fortunes and we call them fate.
Experience makes even fools wise.
They unanimously appointed him a manager for his excellent leadership.
I think a man's actions the best indication of his thoughts.
I consider every day a blessing and a new beginning.
After hours of discussion, we finally found ourselves in agreement.
Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words.
The tsunami left many people dead or missing and communities in ruins.
The noise from my new upstairs neighbor drives me crazy.
I want my life to have a positive influence on others.
Parents often expect their children to do better than they did.
A true friend never asks you to act like an angel, but he becomes your angel.
Dentists advise their patients to replace their toothbrushes every 3 months.
The teacher told the students who kept chatting during class to be quiet.
Remind yourself to trust your own judgments when things go wrong.
The foreign minister warns citizens not to travel to countries that are likely to have terrorist attacks.
A moderate amount of stress gets us to perform at our best.
Forgetting the past can cause you to make the same mistakes again.
Questions lead you to examine an issue that otherwise might go unexamined.
Allow your passion to become your purpose, and it will become your profession one day.
What made you decide to work for an international NGO?
We could see every star in the sky twinkle on the hill.
Books make me laugh and cry and see meaning in life.
Let us always meet each other with smiles, for the smile is the beginning of love.
My dog always growls at me when I have him wait for his food.
Help others achieve their dreams, and you will achieve yours.
I suddenly felt something crawl up my leg.
I've never heard my parents say a bad word about anybody.
Millions saw the apple fall, but Newton was the one who asked why.
The front garden of the cafe is a gorgeous place to sit and watch people pass by.
We watched the sun rising over the sea.
Sometimes fear and guilt gets us walking on the right track.
I felt my heart beating faster when I noticed someone following me.
When it is boiling hot in summer, you might hear the ocean calling you.
When I'm in love, I find myself smiling for no reason at all.
I walk my own path. You will never catch me following in another's footsteps.
Reading keeps you thinking fast and taking actions faster than others.
Greasy foods can slow digestion and leave you feeling uncomfortable.
A wonderful book will have you going through every possible emotion.
Many buildings and houses had their roofs torn off by the tornado.
Someday, you may find yourself improved by all your struggles today.
If you want your eggs hatched, sit on them yourself.
I can't make my voice heard because of the noise.
I'll give you some tips for a letter of self-introduction that will get you noticed.
We heard our national anthem played proudly in the Olympic Games.
When it's hard to focus at work, listening to the appropriate music could keep you motivated.
The weak security systems of some websites left users' personal information exposed to hackers.
You must have your parking ticket stamped to get a parking discount.
I already have my bags packed for the trip tomorrow.
The soccer player had 1 year left on his contract, so he couldn't change teams.
챕터 5. 동사의 시제.
He goes hiking every Saturday.
Will you wait here until I come back?
Respect yourself and others will respect you.
Sound travels at a speed of around 340 meters per second in air.
The new subway line opens next month.
When you do common things in an uncommon way, you will get the attention of the world.
Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results.
As soon as you start to pursue a dream, everything in your life will have meaning.
If you treat people right, they will treat you right.
This week, I'm going to concentrate on schoolwork that I need to catch up on.
We are moving to a new place tomorrow.
A lot of people give up just before they're about to achieve success.
The plane for Toronto is to take off within 30 minutes.
She's only 20, but she has already achieved worldwide fame.
Have you ever imagined your future?
He has just become the youngest member of Mensa, with an estimated IQ of 156.
The baseball team has never won a game so far this season.
I haven't seen you for a long time.
We have been friends since childhood.
Seoul Tower has been a symbol of Seoul since it first opened to the public in 1980.
My father has left for New York on business.
We humans have lost the wisdom of genuinely resting and relaxing. We worry too much.
How long have you been looking for a job?
When I entered the classroom, the lesson had already begun.
She will have graduated from college by next year.
I recognized him at once because I had seen him before.
The pianist had been sick for 2 weeks, so she couldn't take part in the concert.
Almost 11 minutes had gone by when the players finally stopped challenging the referee over his decision.
He lost the smartphone that he had bought the day before.
My teacher spoke highly of the report that I had submitted.
She'll have visited 10 European countries in 12 days by the time she gets back.
If I see this film once more, I will have seen it 3 times.
She will have taught English for 10 years by next year.
I'm very satisfied to have tried many kinds of sports last year.
He admitted having made a serious mistake.
The prime suspect claimed to have passed the lie detector tests.
We hoped to have completed the investigation by the end of last year.
You're not the only one to have complained about the change in policy.
I'm pretty proud of having completed a marathon myself.
Having once failed doesn't mean that you're going to fail at everything.
챕터 6. 동사의 태.
All things are won by industry.
A smile with direct eye contact is welcomed everywhere.
All human interactions are improved by the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes.
A celebrity in Hollywood got arrested for shoplifting last week.
He was given a fine for parking his car in the wrong place.
I was offered a scholarship because I had gotten top marks in all my subjects.
I was told that a terrible accident had happened.
Laughter is called the best medicine.
You're not allowed to take pictures in the museum.
Trust is considered the basis of every relationship.
All human beings are created equal.
I was advised by the doctor to eat more vegetables and stop smoking.
The bank clerks were made to lie on the floor by the gunman.
Pet owners are seen to have lower blood pressure.
Footsteps were heard echoing down a long, dark hallway.
I felt disappointed when I was kept waiting for ages in the restaurant.
Anne Frank's diary was found hidden in the upper floor where the Frank family hid.
Nothing can be done without hope and confidence.
Much progress has been made in the last 6 months in my English.
I may be compelled to face danger, but never fear it.
Nothing will be gained by blaming the past.
Better weather has been predicted this weekend.
I'm an ordinary person who has been blessed with extraordinary opportunities and experiences.
In Brazil, around 20% of the Amazon rainforest has been destroyed.
From his grandmother, he had been taught that he could achieve anything with persistence.
Many flights are being delayed due to the blizzard.
Your order is being prepared for shipping. You can expect delivery in 2 to 3 business days.
Polar bears are being driven to extinction because of increasing temperatures in their habitat.
She is looked up to by other women as an inspirational role model.
It is said that habit is second nature.
He is spoken well of by all his classmates for his good personality.
Books have been thought of as windows to another world of imagination.
Pablo Picasso was laughed at by many of his contemporaries for his unusual style of painting.
It is known that eating bananas is a natural cure to reduce the effects of stress and anxiety.
Language is thought to be the source of human achievements and progress.
Genetic factors are believed to contribute about 30% to the human lifespan.
I am happy to be invited to your party and, of course, to meet you.
Nobody likes being talked about behind his or her back.
All bad fortune is to be conquered by endurance.
Listening is giving the other person the experience of being heard.
I'd like a full refund because the package appeared to have been damaged on delivery.
Having been hurt by someone is never enough reason to hurt them back.
챕터 7. 조동사.
She can speak several languages plus her own language.
You may keep the change.
Our love is the wind. I can't see it, but I can feel it.
I couldn't find the sports car of my dreams, so I built it myself.
With faith, you will be able to handle any challenges in life.
Can I ask you to identify yourself for the record?
You cannot make or take phone calls in the library except in designated areas.
Visitors may use the swimming pool between 5:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m.
Accepting your flaws might lead to personal growth and change.
There may be an easier way of solving the problem.
Your worst day could be a blessing in disguise.
Life can be like riding a roller coaster.
A person with great dreams can attain great things.
The cherry blossom should be in full bloom at this time of the year.
To the world, you ought to be one person, but to one person, you ought to be the world.
I think the job would take about 3 or 4 days to complete.
A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds.
Our bill is over $200. That can't be right. There must be some mistake.
I'm sorry, I must have dialed the wrong number.
I may have read the book, but I hardly remember any of it.
Ancient people must have learned that observations of the stars and planets could predict the coming of the seasons.
The math exam was quite difficult. Susan cannot have gotten a perfect score.
He could have been in an accident on his way here.
According to scientists, zebras may have developed their stripes in order to confuse biting insects.
She was very young then. Dealing with the sudden fame might have been difficult for her.
Your application is too late. You should have submitted it by June 30th.
I shouldn't have said it, but the words slipped out of my mouth.
If you spend time thinking about what you should have done, you lose valuable time.
Why is she late? She ought to have arrived by now.
You needn't have come this early. The bookstore doesn't open till 10 a.m.
You should not criticize others behind their backs.
To live a creative life, we must lose our fear of being wrong.
Your mistakes should be your motivation, not your excuses.
You ought to expect better of people. It encourages you to be a better person yourself.
We ought not to judge men's merits by their qualifications.
Life is like the fireworks. You had better seize the moment.
You need not do great things to show great love for your neighbors.
Today's leaders must be partners with their people.
You have to believe great things are going to happen in your life.
Justice demands that there should be no discrimination against anybody.
The doctor suggested that I control my weight through a calorie-controlled diet and exercise.
God doesn't require us to succeed. He only requires that you try.
Health experts insist that nuts be eaten regularly, as they are major sources of protein, minerals, and vitamins.
It is necessary that we consider other people before we act.
It is essential that every building be provided with a fire extinguisher in an accessible location.
My recommendation to him is that he look for employment elsewhere.
It is a pity that he should miss such a golden opportunity.
It is not so strange that worry should produce physical symptoms.
I used to eat meat, but now I'm a vegetarian.
I cannot help agreeing with you on this matter.
Every year, my family would camp at the river and have a barbecue.
I used to dream about escaping my ordinary life, but then I realized how extraordinary it was.
Where did you used to live before you moved here?
When I hear a great song, I can't help being inspired by it.
Parents cannot be too careful about their words and actions before their children.
Books may well be the only true magic.
If you're going to be thinking, you may as well think big.
I'd like to make today worth remembering.
I'd rather attempt to do something great and fail than attempt to do nothing and succeed.
챕터 8. 가정법 구문.
If you truly loved yourself, you could never hurt another.
If I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend 6 sharpening my axe.
Life expectancy would grow by leaps and bounds if green vegetables smelled as good as bacon.
We would never learn to be patient if there were only joy in the world.
Life would be tragic if it weren't funny.
If happiness were sold, few of us could pay the price.
Were I in your shoes, I would try to look on the bright side.
It would be kind of you if you could share your solutions with me.
If we all did just one random act of kindness daily, we might set the world in the right direction.
If I had not dared to be risky, I could never have dared to be great.
If Edison had been born before Gutenberg, books might have been distributed as sound recordings.
If you had spent more time on the project, you would have made fewer mistakes.
If I had thought of the right words, I could have told him what I was thinking.
Had he followed my advice, he would have saved face.
Accidents caused by human error might have been avoided if more safety precautions had been in place.
I would not have recommended the movie if I had read any of the reviews.
Had Asian countries been integrated with one language, there would have been less diversity in our history.
If all the ice in the Arctic should melt, many coastal areas would disappear.
If the internet were to suddenly stop functioning, the results could be catastrophic.
If the world should stop revolving, spinning slowly down to die, I'd spend the end with you.
Should you have further questions, please feel free to email or call us.
If you were to change your job right now, what would you choose?
If you were to move your chair a bit, we could all sit down.
If you had taken a different path, what would you be doing now?
If it hadn't rained in the morning, we would be on top of the mountain now.
When I read a good book, I wish my life were 3,000 years long.
I wished my real life had a delete key when I fell in front of many people.
A lazy man wishes he could get everything without effort.
The old Romans wished they had a king because they hadn't yet tasted the sweetness of freedom.
I wish I had expressed my gratitude to my parents more often.
I wish I had reserved a table in this restaurant beforehand.
Many people wished he had not been in a public office because of his dishonesty.
The city was so beautiful, and I really wished we could have stayed longer.
I always try to live my life as if there were no second chances.
Some people waste your time as if they had bought it.
He always looked happy, as if a smile were painted on his face.
He talked about my sister as though she had been a close friend.
He is a genius in communication. Otherwise, he would never be my choice for the position.
Without music, life would be a mistake.
Supposing you had been born a century ago, what differences would have been made in your life?
The benefit concert couldn't have been held without many sponsors.
But for pain, we would not appreciate pleasure.
If it were not for love, life would be quite a gloomy experience.
If it had not been for our efforts, we would be in an even more difficult position now.
It is high time that you should consider what you really want to do in the future.
In different circumstances, we could have been good friends.
What would you do in my place?
An offer of $2,000 per week might produce dozens of applicants.
To hear her sing, you would think she was an angel.
Asked for the most useful advice in life, I would say, expect difficulties always.
챕터 9. 형용사적 수식어.
Having someone special in your life is a true blessing.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions.
There are no shortcuts to any place worth going.
The effectiveness of advertising depends on the amount of product information available to consumers.
Parrots capable of speaking are actually imitating words and phrases of human language.
A tree with beautiful blossoms does not always yield the best fruit.
The white skin inside the colored peel of an orange contains a great deal of fiber.
The difference between the average person and Edison is the ability for developing creativity.
Let me have time to think about your suggestion.
I had a lot of school and friend issues to deal with last month.
All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them.
Impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools.
Marie Curie was the first woman to receive the Nobel Prize.
You have no one to blame but yourself because your life is the fruit of your own doing.
As long as you are prepared, there is nothing to worry about.
Money is not an aim to live for, but just a means of exchange.
It's a terrific house to live in. You can feel the seasons through the huge glass windows.
You have only one chance to make a first impression.
The candidate was elected on a promise to expand welfare policy.
A barking dog seldom bites.
Anyone attending the seminar should register in advance.
Some aromas have a relaxing effect on the body, for example, lavender.
According to doctors, hair turning gray runs in the family.
Books dealing with success and happiness are popular these days.
About a third of the students graduating from the technology department of our university have taken jobs in the IT industry.
You're not allowed in here. Did you miss the notice saying keep out?
Love is the big booming beat covering up the noise of hate.
The United Nations is an international organization promoting world peace, civil rights, and anti-terrorism.
Life is a journey, not a guided tour.
Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile.
A watched pot never boils.
Regret for wasted time is more wasted time.
Things acquired with little effort are easily lost.
The secret funds scandal revealed in today's news may be just the tip of the iceberg.
Good music played in the office inspires the workers and changes the whole atmosphere.
Rumors published on the internet now quickly become facts regardless of their reliability.
Truth is like the moon, hidden by thick clouds on a dark night.
DNA is in the genetic material found inside every cell of your body.
챕터 10. 부사적 수식어 1. 부정사 중심.
Now he has completely finished the work by himself.
Excellence is doing ordinary things extraordinarily well.
I'll let you know a very special and surprisingly easy recipe.
Do nothing in haste and think about each step carefully.
Life-transforming ideas have always come to me through books.
Too many people don't even try for fear of failing.
We expect our city will appear in many other foreign movies in the near future.
The virus attacked computers worldwide through a flaw in Windows software.
Briefly, you should express an opinion without too much detail.
Fortunately, all the passengers and crew were rescued from the shipwreck.
To our surprise, a super smart dog knows more than 1,000 words.
Much to my disappointment, she lied to me again.
To learn anything new, you have to have an open mind.
Attempt the impossible in order to improve your work.
An optimist laughs to forget. A pessimist forgets to laugh.
I'm always doing what I can't do to learn how to do it.
Make a detailed plan in advance not to waste a minute of your time.
Humans need to control their conflicts to live harmoniously.
In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different.
In order for any system to function properly, there must be cooperation.
Some animals, like the chameleon, can change the color of their skin so as not to be seen by predators.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
We are pleased to have the opportunity to meet you.
I'm very glad to have something to be passionate about.
People were very disappointed to witness a series of corruption cases.
The actor was upset to read the hateful comments written on internet articles about him.
They must be crazy to believe such nonsense.
You are so strong to turn your adversity into something positive.
She was considerate to listen to everyone's opinions before making a decision.
I was foolish to give up my dreams just because others think I could never achieve them.
I've always known how lucky I am to have you here beside me.
I woke up to find the sun shining brilliantly.
He didn't live to see his masterpiece completed.
Many young Koreans are growing up to be taller than their parents.
Many of us attempt change only to give up after a few tries.
The police arrived at the suspect's home at midnight only to find him gone.
One day he disappeared from the town, never to be seen again.
To see the scene, you would never forget it.
To hear him talk, you would take him for a grown-up.
You would be foolish to spend money on something that you can't afford.
His theory is impossible to understand.
You are sure to like this movie.
A foreign language is quite difficult to master in only 1 year or so.
Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless.
Plastic bags are convenient to use, but expensive to handle as a waste product.
Don't make friends who are comfortable to be with. Make friends who challenge you.
This mountain is suitable for beginners to hike in winter.
People with naturally darker skin are less likely to get sunburned.
Men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves.
We are apt to see the world from our particular point of view.
He was fortunate enough to pass the exam.
I was too embarrassed to look her in the eye.
Fear can be so strong as to limit people's behaviors.
You are old enough to know better.
A man must be wise enough to admit his mistakes and smart enough to get a benefit from them.
Your password should be easy enough for you to remember, but hard for someone else to figure out.
Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it.
The issue was too important for me to judge solely.
The chains of habit are generally too small to be felt until they are too strong to be broken.
Are you so foolish as to believe such a superstition?
The speaker was so well known as to need no introduction.
To tell the truth, I forgot it was your birthday last week.
To make matters worse, it is reported that another typhoon will arrive soon.
The weather here is fantastic, not to mention the food.
He is very thrifty, not to say stingy.
Eating quickly has some specific disadvantages. To begin with, it can lead to obesity.
To be honest with you, it's not really my style.
To put it simply, fast weight loss is always followed by an even faster weight gain.
Happiness, needless to say, is achieved by doing what we enjoy.
챕터 11 부사적 수식어 2 분사 구문
Crossing the street, you should look both ways.
Shouting for joy, the players celebrated their own victory.
Entering the room, I switched on the light.
Choosing a career path, you should think hard about your interests.
Telling a lie, you steal someone's right to the truth.
Waiting to be served, we had to stand in a long line in front of the restaurant.
Good readers, reading a book, make predictions to focus on comprehension.
The plane left from London at 10 a.m., arriving here at 3 p.m.
Opening the envelope, the presenter announced the winner of the Best Actress Award.
I got up from the table quickly, knocking over a glass of water.
Feeling rather ill, I declined his invitation to dinner.
Turning to the left, you will find the building on your right.
Knowing little of the city, we hired a tour guide.
Not knowing what to do, she came to ask for my advice.
Having a clear objective and firm determination, you will focus more on the plan and direction.
Breaking your word again, you'll lose trust from others.
Admitting that some points take longer to master, I found English quite interesting to learn.
Having had a big lunch, I had no appetite for dinner.
Worn properly, safety belts can save many lives each year.
Having drunk 3 cups of coffee, she cannot sleep.
Having had their final medical check, the astronauts boarded their spacecraft.
The teacher, not having heard the bell, kept on teaching.
Translated into English, this poem would lose its beauty.
Used without care, words can cause great damage.
Having been bitten by a snake, he's afraid of a rope.
A kind person, she is loved by everyone.
Afraid of being punished, he did not tell the truth.
Other things being equal, I prefer this one.
Small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform the world.
It being a national holiday, all the banks and public offices were shut.
All things considered, she is the best qualified person for the position.
There being no vacant seat in the subway, we kept standing all the way.
We will head outside and set up telescopes to view stars, planets, galaxies, and more, the weather permitting.
Positive people can handle conflict situations easily while maintaining good personal relations.
Once seen, the last scene of the movie can never be forgotten.
When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of 2 characters. One represents danger, and the other represents opportunity.
When first exercising, it is important to set specific goals.
Generally speaking, what you eat is more important than when you eat.
Strictly speaking, your argument missed the point.
Speaking of fame, it can really come and go.
Judging from her first novel, she will be a great writer.
I can't feel relaxed with you watching me like that.
Sitting with legs crossed for a long period can raise blood pressure.
History goes on with old ideas giving way to new.
Many people are sitting with their head buried in their smartphone in the subway.
챕터 12. 등위절과 병렬 구조.
I enjoy the physical work, and I like the sense of achievement.
Change your thoughts and you change your world.
Optimism is essential to achievement, and it is also the foundation of courage and true progress.
You cannot do much about the length of your life, but you can do a lot about its depth and width.
Conflict is always difficult, but it sometimes leads to growth and change in organizations.
Suffering can destroy you, or it can show your true potential.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Don't try to do too much at once, or you will tire yourself out.
Strive to have friends, for life without friends is like life on a desert island.
I never did anything by accident, nor did any of my inventions come by accident.
Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly.
Trees cannot grow in the sky, nor clouds be in the deep sea, nor fish live in the fields.
Make each day both useful and pleasant.
Life is either a daring adventure or nothing.
Keep in mind that neither success nor failure is ever final.
Choosing an action depends on both what we can do and what we should do.
There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
Waste neither time nor money, but make the best of both.
Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value.
Education is not only a ladder of opportunity, but it is also an investment in our future.
When we lose, we must not show our grief and anger, but congratulate the winner.
Each stage of life is not only a complete life in itself, but preparation for the next.
Fair play is the golden rule of life as well as of games.
To accomplish great things, we must dream as well as act.
The excitement of watching sports games comes from cheering on your team, celebrating its skills, and complaining about the opposing team's good luck.
The ancient Greeks believed that all beauty could be explained with math and used a system to find what they called the golden ratio.
Stop thinking about what you don't have and find a solution yourself.
Too much inactivity can lead to bad physical condition, muscle weakness, weight gain, and depression.
Books can add to what we know, widen our vocabulary, make our character strong, and do many other things that silver and gold cannot do.
To communicate clearly with others, have the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want.
Note-taking depends on one's ability to understand the content and hold it in memory long enough to write it down.
The singer is famous for her active participation in human rights movements, but not for her music.
If you're never scared or embarrassed or hurt, it means you never take any chances.
It doesn't matter what age you are, what you look like, or where you come from.
When you are on the subway in Paris, you have to open the doors yourself by pushing a button, depressing a lever, or sliding them.
DNA evidence has been used in court, both to prosecute criminals and to set the innocent free.
You can choose either to have a negative attitude towards your life or to be happy instead.
Love does not consist in gazing at each other, but in looking outward together in the same direction.
Volunteers aren't paid, not because they are worthless, but because they are priceless.
Good friends not only help you get through bad times, but also help you stay focused on your goals.
챕터 13. 명사절.
Doctors say that fruit and vegetables help prevent diseases like cancer.
The best scientist has an open mind to experience and begins with the idea that anything is possible.
That I was in love with her was true.
I believe that you'll do better next time.
We differ from most animals in that we can think and speak.
The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude.
The supreme happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved.
The question is whether I should give him another chance or not.
You can tell if someone has a good heart by his respect for others.
Whether you will do it or not is up to you.
It doesn't matter whether you win or lose as long as you do your best.
Clinical tests can determine whether a treatment is safe and effective.
He has to write an essay on whether or not the death penalty should be abolished.
The test of a great book is whether we want to read it only once or more than once.
I don't know if I made the right decision in this situation.
When I do online shopping, I usually check if the price includes delivery charges.
I was wondering if you'd like to come to the movies with me this evening.
You don't know what you are capable of until you try.
Who do you think the best musician of our generation is?
How you handle conflict determines the course of your life and your relationships.
It matters little where a man may be at this moment. The point is whether he is growing.
Before we enter the museum, let me briefly explain where each exhibition is located.
Can you tell me why this model is much more expensive than the others?
What do you believe makes life worth living?
Your problem is how you are going to spend this precious life.
What is learned in the cradle is carried to the grave.
What causes a person to be inactive is a lack of goals and purpose.
Don't try to show off. Just be yourself and do what you enjoy doing.
Time is what we want most, but what we use worst.
Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body.
It is often said that education makes us what we are.
The village is quite different from what it used to be.
We should judge a man not by what he has, but by what he is.
Leaves are to the plant what lungs are to the animal.
Whatever has a beginning also has an end.
You can take whichever seat is available.
Whoever cares to learn will always find a teacher.
Whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well.
We have a right to elect whomever we want.
The best way to learn to draw is to draw whatever you are really interested in, as much as you can.
With a strong will, you can have whichever life you want in any circumstances.
The new store gave a present to whoever shopped there on its opening day.
She is so diligent that she succeeds in whatever she undertakes.
챕터 14 관계사절
All men who have achieved great things have been great dreamers.
You need to doubt the value of things which you got easily.
Big jobs usually go to the men who prove their ability to accomplish small ones.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
Pain is a lesson which will help you grow.
All great discoveries are made by men whose feelings run ahead of their thinking.
A weed is a plant whose virtues have not yet been discovered.
Never judge someone whom you don't even fully know.
Real success is finding your life work in the work which you love.
Every day do something that will inch you closer to a better tomorrow.
Yes and no are the two most important words that you will ever say. These are the two words that determine your destiny in life.
There are times when everyone wants to be alone.
The present is the only moment when you can take action.
My children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin.
Life and sports present many situations where critical and difficult decisions have to be made.
The reason why people do not obtain success is that it is disguised as hard work.
Stereotypes should never influence how we deal with or treat others.
If you want your life to be more rewarding, you have to change the way you think.
The only way that young people can learn is to make their own mistakes.
When was the last time that you wrote a letter with your hand?
Even the student I thought to be clever could not solve the problem.
The achievement of your goal is assured at the moment you commit yourself to it.
Experience is the name everyone gives to their mistakes.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Don't marry someone you can live with, but marry someone you cannot live without.
We don't have an eternity to realize our dreams, only the time we are here.
Do you remember the place we first met?
One of the reasons mature people stop learning is that they become less and less willing to risk failure.
Behavior is the mirror in which everyone shows their true image.
Reading is the primary means by which you acquire your ideas and gather information.
You may forget someone with whom you laughed, but you will never forget someone with whom you wept.
A man can succeed at almost anything for which he has unlimited enthusiasm.
The number of foreign students is increasing who learn the Korean language.
The time will surely come when my words will come true.
Virtual reality is an environment created by computers which seems almost real.
A black hole is an area in outer space into which everything, including light itself, is pulled.
You are the only person whom I've ever met who understands me.
There are many things which are important for you to learn, but which can never be taught in a classroom.
Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself that sets you free emotionally.
I feel sad for the kids I see on the street who are living in extreme poverty.
This is the only travel guidebook I was recommended to read, which is really useful.
I voted for the person who I thought was the best candidate.
The man who we suspected was a thief proved to be a policeman.
She is an intelligent and dedicated woman who I believe deserves a chance to be the CEO of our company.
I met an old friend of mine who didn't recognize me at first.
One of the best ways to learn is to teach others, which enhances our own learning experience.
Millions apparently suffer from no-mobile-phobia, which has been given the name nomophobia.
Time, whose teeth eat away at everything else, is powerless against truth.
Curing the mind is the first step to curing illness, which is a healing principle mentioned in the Dongui Bogum.
I've always had a great many worries, most of which were silly.
The manager set out 3 solutions for the problem, one of which was considered the most attractive by everyone.
The solar system, to which planets like Earth and Mars belong, was formed approximately 4.5 billion years ago.
In China, where silence is valued, you find the Chinese proverb, "Loud thunder brings little rain."
South Africa is like a giant zoo, where elephants, lions, and even penguins wander freely.
In 1949, Andy Warhol moved to New York, where he started working as a commercial artist.
We planned our purchases for the last day of the sale, when the prices would be really low.
The last time I went to Santorini was in September, when the weather was really beautiful.
챕터 15 부사절
When the well is dry, we know the worth of water.
We do not know the value of health until we lose it.
True friendship comes when the silence between two people is comfortable.
While we stop to think, we often miss our opportunity.
Happiness adds and multiplies as we divide it with others.
It has been about 50 years since our school was founded.
Love is only a word until you meet someone who gives it meaning.
You can't really know other people until you walk a mile in their shoes.
The possibilities are numerous once we decide to act.
Man should forget his anger before he lies down to sleep.
Luck is what you have left over after you give 100%.
As soon as the fear approaches near, attack and destroy it.
No sooner had our food arrived than the waitress spilled a glass of ice water all over my food.
We had hardly arrived at the beach when it began to pour with rain.
Scarcely were the words out of my mouth when I realized what a stupid thing I had said.
The moment she comes in, we'll all sing happy birthday and give her the present.
By the time they are 3 months old, babies will be able to recognize their mother.
Every time you smile at someone, it is a gift to that person.
Please feel free to come in and stay as long as you like.
I think it will not be long before we suffer from a shortage of water.
A bad plan is better than no plan because it can be improved.
It isn't right to wish pain on other people just because they hurt you first.
I learned something not because I have to, but because I really want to.
Since we cannot change reality, let us change the eyes which see reality.
As it was a national holiday, all the banks were closed.
My life has meaning now that I can comfort and give hope to people in more difficult situations.
Seeing that the level of fine dust is high, you'd better wear a mask.
I am sorry that I must be a carrier of bad news to those whom I love.
I'd rather sit down if you don't mind.
People rarely succeed unless they have fun in what they are doing.
If you can give your child only one gift, let it be enthusiasm.
Knowledge is of no value unless you put it into practice.
Unless we take action against cyberbullying, the suffering of victims will continue.
In case you need my help, please don't hesitate to call me.
There are always millions of ways to reach your goal, supposing you really want to do it.
It does not make a big difference whatever your hobby is, provided you find it interesting.
It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop.
Although the world is full of suffering, it is full also of the overcoming of it.
Whether our experiences were good or bad, it's better to see the positive side of them.
Though exam results are important for your future, they are not everything.
Over every mountain there is a path, although it may not be seen from the valley.
Even though we wear fashionable clothes, we can't be truly beautiful without good manners.
Even if it's a little thing, do something for those who have need of a man's help.
I'll finish this report if it takes me all night.
Everyone dreams every single night, whether they realize they dream or not.
Rich as you may be, you can't buy sincere friends.
Coward as he was, John couldn't bear such an insult.
However humble it may be, there is no place like home.
The left brain analyzes the parts while the right looks at the whole.
Whoever you pretend to be, you must face yourself eventually.
The game will be very exciting, whichever side wins.
Whatever you're going through in your life, don't ever give up.
The athlete will come back after treating a shoulder injury, whenever that may be.
Wherever he goes, he carries a message of hope and opportunity to people.
However long the night, the dawn will break.
Anger makes you smaller, while forgiveness forces you to grow beyond what you were.
Whereas knowledge can be acquired from books, skills must be learned through practice.
Accept the challenges so that you can feel the exhilaration of victory.
We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak.
Review what happened and make plans so that the same problem does not arise again.
I change my password frequently in order that I can avoid account theft or unauthorized use.
We must learn from history, lest we should repeat its tragic lessons.
I always travel with a book in case I have to wait in line.
She was so tired that she couldn't move even a finger.
There are so many delicious dishes, I don't know where to start.
It was such a boring movie that I couldn't stay awake until the end.
Responsibility for the error is entirely mine, so I'll take care of it right away.
Do to others as you would have them do to you.
As you sow, so shall you reap.
I paint objects as I think them, not as I see them.
The writer does not always present life as it is.
Truth cannot be broken, and always gets above falsehood, as does oil above water.
He looks as if he needs more sleep.
She is walking as if she doesn't know where she is headed.
Just as food and water are essential to life, so the spirit of self-sacrifice is a necessary condition of love.
As a well-spent day brings happy sleep, so life well used brings happy death.
You are awesome just the way you are.
챕터 16. 전명구를 동반하는 동사 구문.
I think of life itself now as a wonderful play that I've written for myself.
We look upon leisure as a vital time for recharging one's batteries.
Native Americans have traditionally regarded the horse as a companion with common destiny.
The World Health Organization views access to health care as a basic human right.
We suffer as a result of our own actions. It is unfair to blame anybody for it.
Lots of people criticize the airline industry for poor customer service and increased fees.
Last night, I scolded each of my kids for their rude behavior in front of my guest.
Thank you for your interest in our products.
Many people substitute beans for meat as a healthy alternative to eating meat.
Judgments prevent us from seeing the good that lies beyond appearances.
Clouds may keep the sun's heat from reaching the earth.
Not being known doesn't stop the truth from being true.
Do not discourage children from dreaming dreams, even if they seem absurd.
The national park deters people who are visiting there from climbing the rock because of the dangers.
It is important to distinguish fact from opinion.
All the puppies looked the same, so I couldn't tell one from another.
Most human beings instinctively know right from wrong.
Separate the food waste from other garbage so the food waste can be recycled.
2 armed men robbed the bank of all the money.
Evening exercise will relieve you of all the tension of the day.
Never deprive someone of hope. It might be all they have.
You can be deprived of your money, job, and home by someone else, but no one can ever take away your honor.
Building owners should clear the sidewalk of snow and ice for public access.
After a year using a new treatment, many patients were cured of the illness.
You remind me of myself when I was your age.
Road signs inform drivers of many things, including potential hazards, speed limit, and changes in road conditions ahead.
We will notify you of any delays with your order within 24 hours, excluding weekends and holidays.
I don't want to accuse her of telling lies, as I know she didn't intend to.
He failed to convince the jury of his innocence.
Any creator owes their creation to past creations.
The failure of a film can be attributed to a number of factors, not only one.
Doctors ascribed his quick recovery to his strong determination to beat the illness.
My job provides me with the opportunity to meet new people every day.
A witness supplied the police with the criminal's description.
This website presents you with accurate advice and information on weight loss matters.
Creating a positive mental attitude every day fills your life with happiness.
The program aims to equip people with the skills necessary for a job.
Don't compare what you have with what others have.
The recent anti-piracy ads compare downloading movies illegally to stealing someone's car or purse.
Life is often compared to a voyage.
Because he was big for his age, people often took my younger brother for an adult.
For $13, the airport shuttle bus takes you directly to your hotel.
I prefer playing in the open air to reading indoors.
You cannot add more minutes to the day, but you can utilize each one to the fullest.
Apply all your efforts to making constructive changes in your life.
I'd like to congratulate you on your 20th birthday.
Good leaders transform creativity into meaningful innovation.
Great communication skills and the ability to take the initiative will lead you to success.
챕터 17. 비교 구문.
The ability to express an idea is as important as the idea itself.
You still look as good as you did around 9 years ago.
We ought to do good to others as simply as a horse runs, or a bee makes honey.
If you want to know a country, learning about its culture is as important as learning its language.
Failure is as much a part of the game of life as success.
Reading 10,000 books is not as useful as traveling 10,000 miles.
Being recognized for what we do is not so important as being loved for who we are.
There were as many as 300 people at his concert.
The City Hall is still undergoing repairs, expected to cost as much as $4 million.
You only get one life. It's actually your duty to live it as fully as possible.
Walking quickly can lower your risk of heart-related conditions as much as running can.
Happiness depends not so much on circumstances as on your way of looking at life.
Imagination is more important than knowledge.
You can make more friends with your ears than your mouth.
The hunger for love is much more difficult to remove than the hunger for bread.
Because of the flood of applicants, the application process is taking a lot longer than we expected.
The population of South Korea is larger than that of New Zealand.
It is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
The more we study, the more we discover our ignorance.
The more you chase money, the harder it is to catch it.
The more opportunities you have, the more challenges you should take up.
The modern world makes us live faster and faster without care for others.
Through constructive criticism, you can be more and more motivated to overcome your mistakes.
Several excuses are always less convincing than one.
Our system is superior to yours in accessibility and in convenience.
The government spent 3 times as much money on national defense as last year.
The task took only half as long as I had expected.
Through SNS, celebrities' words spread more than twice as fast as those of ordinary people.
A report showed that children who skip breakfast are twice as likely to be overweight as children who eat breakfast.
The air pollution level in Beijing is at least 3 times higher than the World Health Organization's safe level.
The part of an iceberg that is below the surface of the ocean is about 9 times larger than the part that is above the water.
The length of your education is not more important than its breadth.
Cultural development is not less significant than economic development.
Stepping onto a brand new path is not more difficult than remaining in a tough reality.
Children are not less intelligent than adults. They are just less informed.
Too much is no more desirable than too little is.
Exercise is no less important to our health than nourishment.
We can no more hold time steady than we can turn it back.
We must recognize that other people's values are no less crucial than our own.
Occasionally I have fast food, but not more than once a month.
The candidates for mayor of this city must collect not less than 40,000 signatures for registration.
Please use not less than 4 letters and not more than 15 letters for your password.
My school is no more than 5 minutes' walk from my house.
For a butterfly to fly, it must have a body temperature of no less than 30 degrees Celsius.
He is 54 years old, and he still looks no more than 40.
A friend with an understanding heart is worth no less than a brother.
Music is the most powerful form of communication in the world.
Your knee is the most complex joint in your body.
The most wasted of all days is one without laughter.
The latest movie in the series was the most exciting of all.
The musical performance contains the most astonishing costumes, stage setting, and lighting that have ever been used.
This will be the most important international meeting that Korea has ever hosted.
No entertainment is so cheap as reading, nor any pleasure so lasting.
There is no surprise more magical than the surprise of being loved.
Fear defeats more people than any other thing in the world.
Nothing is as strong as parents' love for their children.
Nothing is more precious than time, but nothing is less valued.
The beginning is perhaps more difficult than anything else, but keep an optimistic view.
How others see me is the least important of my worries.
Walking is by far the most popular way to enjoy the countryside.
Barcelona is the second largest city in Spain and is famous for many historic monuments.
Belief in oneself is one of the most important bricks in building any successful venture.
By the laws of nature, the stream will run downhill, and the strongest man cannot stop it.
챕터 18. 특수 구문.
Not only is a good listener popular everywhere, but he gets to learn something.
Behind every success are many hours of sweat and pain.
Under no circumstances will your email address be provided to any third party.
Only for the love of his family does he do such hard work.
Among the guests invited were artists, writers, architects, and well-known journalists, as well as Hollywood stars.
I opened my window, and in flew the biggest bug I had ever seen.
Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher.
More surprising is the fact that most of these diseases are preventable.
In life, love is never planned, nor does it happen for a reason.
There were no free parking spaces left, so I had to pay for parking.
The joys of parents are secret, and so are their griefs and fears.
The future belongs to all of us, and so does the responsibility to make a good future.
I don't like walking in the rain.
Neither do I. He did not like the way we spoke, nor did he approve of the way we dressed.
In every man's life, there come hardships and pains he can handle.
Should this product fail to give you satisfaction, we guarantee to refund your money.
Had it not been for the strong motivation that inspired and sustained me, I could not have become what I am today.
It is confidence that allows us to have unlimited success.
It is your parents who love you most.
It is the things I've never tried that I regret, not the things I've failed at.
It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye.
It is while we are young that the habit of industry is formed.
It was not until Einstein was 14 that he showed his mathematical talents.
What is it that you want to say?
Experience really does make you a better man.
It is the very perfection of a man to find out his own imperfections.
Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself.
If you want a thing done well, do it yourself.
I don't understand in the least what she's trying to say.
Hey, what on earth are you doing here?
Lost wealth can be regained, but lost time never.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
The first half of our lives is spent sacrificing our health to achieve wealth, and the second half sacrificing our wealth to achieve health.
Under the system of mass education, too much stress is laid on teaching and too little on active learning.
Are there any tickets left for tonight?
I'm afraid not. I didn't mean to take a taxi, but I had to as I was late.
We are drowning in information while starving for wisdom.
Passengers can claim compensation unless informed of the cancellation of the flight in advance.
At the flea market, you will surely find something unique, if not valuable.
What if this were your last night alive?
I have loved and will love only you.
Education means development, not only of the brain, but also of the whole person.
Your opinion looks similar to, but is different from, mine.
Passions weaken, but habits strengthen with age.
Even in this most technological age, the greater part of our activity is, and must be, based on tradition.
Efforts are as valuable as, and may be more valuable than, the results they bring about.
Water turns into ice at 0 degrees Celsius and into steam at 100 degrees Celsius.
Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
As children enter adolescence, they begin to demand greater freedom to go where they please, to do what they please, and to make decisions without parental interference.
Words once spoken, like bullets once fired, can't be recovered.
The greatest pleasure in life is doing what people say you cannot do.
A good plan, violently executed now, is better than a perfect plan next week.
Interpersonal skills, which are used when we communicate with others, help us establish and maintain relationships.
Competition, we have learned, is neither good nor evil in itself.
Every gift, even if small, is in reality great, if it is given with affection.
A young man's friends can have a great, if not decisive, influence on his life.
With persistence, you can go beyond what you thought was possible for you to achieve.
There are few, if any, mistakes in his English.
What is shown on television is, as it were, a reflection of what society is like.
Eric and Tom, both friends of mine, are starting a band.
The company launched a new business in Asia, the fastest growing market in the world.
Heavy hitters, the ones who hit the most home runs, also strike out a lot.
Genes, the basic parts of cells which are passed down from parents to children, may have something to do with human behavior.
Claustrophobia, or a fear of being in a small or crowded space, is a well-known phobia.
We are planning a trip to the windy city of Chicago next month.
All living creatures depend for their existence on the chemical elements of oxygen and hydrogen.
If you seldom fail, it's a sign that you're playing it safe.
The idea occurred to me that if I gave up traveling around the world then, I would never have a second chance.
A moment's thought will make the matter clear.
What brought you here?
The incident caused me to reflect on my past life.
The failure of several of his films drove the actor to quit.
Your dedicated work has made it possible for us to maintain the high quality of papers published.
An hour's walk up the hill took me to the top.
Traveling allows us to relax, explore new places, and have fun.
Putting dry tea bags in smelly shoes will absorb the unpleasant odor.
A visit to an art gallery will enable you to see a lot of wonderful paintings.
Focusing on the trees keeps you from seeing the forest.
No amount of money matters if we are not healthy.
I know neither of them.
You cannot satisfy everybody around you.
You cannot achieve the impossible without attempting the absurd.
Nothing will be gained by just waiting.
Success in life is not necessarily the same thing as the acquirement of riches.
Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love.
Action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action.
Nothing is impossible to a person who has a willing heart.
Nobody will believe in you unless you believe in yourself.
You are never given a dream without also being given the power to make it true.